Let's just dive right in. Let's talk about Kansas BYU, and you guys need to subscribe and listen because I said take Kansas -4.5. I said take Kansas halftime, full time. I said take Kansas first half -2.5. Bang, bang, bang. 3-0. This BYU team is just not cut out for it. I look at this BYU team, I see first round exit. At least that's the type of ball they've been playing as of late. 3 ranked opponents over the past 4 games, 5 games. LLL. We're talking Texas Tech. AJ Dybantsa had his worst game of the year. Arizona, in BYU, AJ Dybantsa had his worst game of the year. And then at Kansas, AJ Dybantsa didn't have a field goal attempt until after the second media timeout. And AJ Dybantsa didn't play bad against Kansas. But I want to see this guy who's getting $1 gazillion, who they built the team around, saying this is the guy that's going to take us on a deep run in March, play good against some of the best teams on his schedule, and he just hasn't done that yet. He hasn't been as aggressive as you would like a guy as highly touted as AJ Dybantsa to be. That being said, Richie Saunders went off. Wright had his moments. But when Darryn Peterson is on the floor, Kansas is the best team in the country, and I don't think it's close. They just need to keep that guy hydrated, keep that guy's muscles. I don't know. I've never seen anybody cramp as much as he does, but when he's on the floor, they're the best team in the country. They were up 20 at half. Darryn Peterson only plays 4 minutes in the second half, and BYU cut that 20-point lead down to 4 with only a few minutes left, but Kansas was still able to get it done because they do have some of the best players. They have the best starting 5 in the country, debatably, them or Houston or Arizona, when Darryn Peterson is playing. Fadungo was incredible on the defensive side today. Oh my gosh, what's the dude's name? The guy that barks all the time. Oh my gosh, he was crucial for them down the stretch. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. He transferred from like Bowling Green or something. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Either way, Trey White's a dog. Badunga's a dog. The dude that's a dog that literally every time they showed him on College Game Day, he was barking. Oh my gosh, it's not Clancy. Oh my gosh, why can't... Oh my goodness, why can't I think of this dude's name, bro? That's going to kill me. That's going to kill me. The comments are going to kill me, but it's going to bother me. Melvin Council, man, he hit the clutch 3 on which was a much-needed bucket. Their offense stalled from like 8 minutes to 3 minutes. It wasn't the same offense really in the entire second half without Darryn Peterson on the floor. But Council does get the clutch bucket at the end on a little fader that looked like an awful shot selection, especially coming out of a timeout at that time, but he was still able to get it to fall, and they were able to fend off 30 from Richie Saunders. It felt like the second half, but he was the only guy that showed up to play today for BYU. He had a career high. I don't think it was a career high. I think they said in the broadcast he might have tied a career high. He had 6 threes. AJ Dybantsa did have 17. He wasn't inefficient, 50% from the field, but he didn't have a shot until after the second media timeout. And I'm like, well, this guy is a projected number 1, number 2 overall pick at Allen Fieldhouse, ranked opponent, hostile environment. Go out and get it. Why are we hesitating? And then by the time he did start to get going, the game was too far out of reach. A lot of NBA scouts there, a lot of NBA executives. Richie Saunders looked like the best player on BYU's team. I'm not trying to rip on AJ Dybantsa. If you have eyes, you can see why he is so highly touted. He can get any shot he wants on the floor. He drives to the cup. He draws contact with will. But I just haven't seen a third effort defensively. He doesn't attack the glass. When the shot's not falling, impact the game in other ways. That's the only thing I have on AJ Dybantsa, and the shot hasn't been falling against some top-tier opposition so far. Kansas with Darryn Peterson, best team in the country. Seriously. I mean, even without him in the second half, obviously you could tell. Like Darryn Peterson with Council, Badunga, Trey White, and then if Bryson Tiller, yes, that's the dude's name, not the rapper, the freshman. If he starts playing the way he did against BYU, this Kansas team's scary. Final 4. But he needs to stay on the floor, man. I've never seen anything like it. I've checked Twitter, and we don't know why he wasn't on the floor. By the time you're listening to this, you'll probably know why he wasn't on the floor in the second half. Only 6 minutes or 4 minutes. Went out with 16 minutes left. What are we doing? Why is he not on the floor? BYU is a good team. It's just that they've lost to the 3 hardest teams, the hardest games, the 3 best teams in the Big 12 they've lost to. So it's like, how can you trust a team like that in March? There was another upset in the Big 12 today that I think we should definitely talk about, and that was UCF knocking off Texas Tech. UCF's a real problem. If they're not ranked, then these AP voters aren't watching the game, man. The second home win against a ranked opponent. They beat Kansas with Darryn Peterson a few weeks ago. Poor shot selection down the stretch for Texas Tech, especially Toppin. The three ball was falling for him, but he put up a shot that had no business going up. And then Atwell rushed to three as well down the stretch. But this was my first time watching UCF. Folks is an absolute baller. The guard there, he's an absolute baller. Clutch, good ball handler, great passer, really runs the offense. And then I don't know if he's related to Bol, but this guy, 7'2", Bol was all over the place rebounding. And UCF, they attacked the glass. UCF's one of the best rebounding teams in the country. They turned over Texas Tech, who was one of the best teams in NCAA at not turning the ball over. They turned them over like 10 times in the first half. They dominated the glass against a team that does rebound well in Texas Tech. They dominated the turnover margins. UCF is a really, really good team, and if they're not ranked by Tuesday or Monday night, some of the committee isn't watching. The AP voters aren't watching. If UCF isn't ranked, they are a very, very, very good basketball team. As far as my Mountaineers are concerned, it's just a joke in Morgantown. I can't lie. They play such good defense, but nobody can get. If Hunter Huff isn't shooting the three ball well, their offense is none. It's non-existent. It's a complete and utter joke. What else happened today? Caleb Wilson had a nice dunk, nice lob, nice yam. He's a stud. I'm still taking him over to Dybantsa. I still stand on that take for now. We'll see him and Cameron Boozer, who is a fucking stud in his own right. Boozer hit a clutch three down the stretch against Virginia Tech that put up a good fight on their home floor against Duke, but it just wasn't enough. What else am I missing here? Louisville gets a very big win. SMU and Boobie Miller, I think his name is. That guy's kind of a stud, but early on, SMU blitzed them, and their rookie, oh my gosh, I'm just awful with the names today. Rookie, too. Freshman. Michael Brown had like 5 turnovers in the first 5 minutes of that game. He bounced back nicely. I think Louisville could be a real problem once they get more continuity with Brown moving forward in this season. They had a good win. And then I think now I'll just cut it, and then we'll come back later tonight. Gonzaga plays St. Mary's, Battle of the Mountain West. I'm cooking in my picks for college basketball. I've always been pretty good with college basketball. We're cooking here, absolutely. Houston picks up one over Cincinnati. Virginia fended off BC. That the Golden Eagles put on a fight down the stretch. Arizona beats Arizona State. They stay undefeated. Miami, Ohio beats Northern Illinois. They stay undefeated. We'll get into the rest of the games later tonight. I'll talk to you guys. This is what hopefully Arkansas wins. Hopefully Gonzaga wins and covers. Hopefully UConn wins and covers. And we're in a pretty good spot here. And then to Auburn as well. But yeah, I'll pause it now, and then I'll get back to you guys later tonight. It was a pretty freaking solid, don't want to curse right off there, but a pretty solid afternoon games. Starting with Arkansas, Kentucky. I thought Arkansas would take care of business on their own floor. Kentucky had other plans. They couldn't shoot the ball. Arkansas, they could not shoot the ball. There were like a million technical fouls in this game. Arkansas was able to close the gap after Kentucky took a lead in the first half. I think Arkansas got a lead for a second, but then Kentucky constantly had a response. Otega Owe was awesome. And then the white dude came to the rescue. Colin Chandler hit a very, very clutch clock running down. Arkansas making its move. If they get a stop here, they get a stop here. After a timeout as well, turnaround fadeaway from the mid-range. Nasty, nasty, dagger, tear your heart out type of bucket. And Kentucky has now won 5 of its last 6. Arkansas, if they won this game, would have been tied for first in the SEC, but they dropped. But Arkansas will be just fine. They just couldn't shoot the ball tonight. They had 3 for 16. I have it in front of me. 3 for 14 from 3, 21%. That's not going to cut it. They weren't going to get it done. Didn't get much out of anybody aside from Darius Acuff. Trayvon Brazil was awful down the stretch. Missed a couple of good looks from 3. And Malik Thomas, 4 for 8. Not much going on there. Not a good day. Not a good day for this Arkansas offense. It wasn't horrible. Like, they still scored some points. Just not a good day shooting. And their defense let them down once again, which could be a story this season. Tennessee, Auburn. I had Auburn winning that game. I took for granted just how physically dominant Tennessee can be. And one of the main reasons Auburn hung around in this game. Sorry, I'm still watching Gonzaga St. Mary's, and it's a 6-point game with 7 minutes to go. I just am getting tired, so I didn't want to record after. But either way, the only reason Auburn hung around in this game, despite some awful offensive plays, some awful shot making, is because Tennessee's guard Gillespie, who fouled Todd Pettiford at the end of the first half on a 4-point play, 3, came into the game with 3 fouls, fouled Pettiford right away, who hit another 3 with a chance for 4. He got hurt in this game, and you could tell, or not hurt, but he got into foul trouble early, and you could tell just how much Gillespie matters to this offense. I haven't watched too much Tennessee this year, so I was excited to watch him, but he was not that good. He was very streaky, a lot of hucks, a lot of forced shots. It didn't seem like he was that efficient. He didn't have his best stroke. He was, what was he from the field? 4 for 16 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3. And Tennessee is a very interesting team because if Gillespie and Ament are on, they're a hard team to stop offensively. But if they're not on, where's the offense come from? However, they are one of the best rebounding teams in the country, like 15 offensive rebounds per game. They beat you up on the interior. They beat you up on the inside. They beat you up defensively. They had 17 offensive rebounds against Auburn. And Auburn is a team that draws a lot of fouls. They shoot 25 free throws per game, which is the most in the SEC. So that's why Jacoby Gillespie was in foul trouble earlier. They were hunting him, and he also had a couple of bad fouls on Todd Pettiford on a couple of threes. But if Gillespie and Ament aren't playing their best game offensively, there's going to be some question marks on whether Tennessee can score. We know they'll be able to defend. We know they'll be able to get second chance opportunities, but they need a third option offensively outside of Ament and Gillespie to emerge down the stretch here. But good win for Tennessee against an Auburn team that's been rallying a little bit, coming off a huge win last week on the road in Gainesville. Big win for Tennessee. They're a team that I wouldn't want to play. They just drag you through the mud for 40 minutes, man. They're a good, scrappy basketball team. But offensively, there's a lot left to be desired there for Tennessee, 100%. What other games should we talk about? Those are the two main ones. I mean, I guess I didn't really talk about Wisconsin, Ohio State. That game went about exactly as I said it would go. Wisconsin dominated from like 10 minutes in and on. It felt like that game was at 10 points for most of the way. Big games tomorrow, so I guess I'll cut it again here, and then we'll fast forward and get into some of those bigger games tomorrow. Illinois, Nebraska. What's the other big game tomorrow? It's Illinois, Nebraska. That's the one I'm most excited for because there'll be a lot of points there. And Alabama, Florida. Yeah, there's some good games there. And then Gonzaga, St. Mary's, I have not been really watching. I was hanging out with my parents. But I've been watching the last 10 minutes, so I'll give you guys a recap on that to go forward here. I think we covered pretty much all the big stuff we needed to cover. UConn blew out Creighton, especially in the second half, 44-28 in the second half. UConn's a real problem. Yeah. All right, we'll cut it here and go to tomorrow's games.